For Tuesday, June, I'm already jumping ahead to July, June 27th, 2017. And as always, we are being ably filmed by the man behind the curtain, in this case, the door, from Area 58 Community Access Television, which will be available to you on our local access channel and YouTube. We will start, as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everyone looked at the agenda? We're all good with that?
Oh, hang on 2 seconds. Thank you.
Yes?
Yes.
How about the minutes for the regular session, June 13th, 2017? Has everyone had an opportunity to review them?
If so, I will present them.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I would also like to move to affirm the approval of the following warrants. Payroll warrant number 113, $610,662.45. Withholding warrant 114, $184,446.77. And vendor warrant number 115, $87,642.06.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
To move to approve of the following warrants. Payroll warrant 2017, number 117 for $248,816.22. Vendor warrant number 118 for $47,419.38. And withholding warrant number 119 for $75,797.85. And final, the vendor warrant number 1 for $1,305,273.75.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I would like to move to approve the following selectmen's bills. Halifax Elementary School roof feasibility study and plan, $150. Gatehouse Media, Mass. Youth and Rec concession stand expenditures, $68.37. And that's for National Grid electricity for the concession stand. Law account 101-151. Douche, Williams and Brooks, Dorenzo and Holland PC, total $1,196.12. Town Hall Electric, National Grid, $1,237.79. And the final one is for the law account, miscellaneous KP Law PC, fees for a total of $2,062.41.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Meow.
I apologize for my text alert. I know how cats freak you out, so I
They do.
apologize.
And that completes my presentation.
Did we vote that, or did I get distracted with my...
I think we voted it.
Okay.
I gave it a meow.
You give it a minute. And now we turn the meeting over to Mr. Seeley.
Just an update on the water testing over at Fieldstone Farm. The Board of Health has been getting the test results. They've been fine.
Oh, good.
They are trying to get a reply to an agreement, at least even via email, of what's going to be done in the future. And they've not heard back now for 3 or 4 weeks from Attorney Taylor or Mr. Clausen. Larry Mayo has been notified by the Board of Health of that.
Okay. May I just ask you a quick question about this? So in our consent agreement, our updated one that has not been approved yet by the court, but I think that we've all sort of agreed that we're going to adhere to
Right.
everything that's in the closet. We're not going to piecemeal it and just pick the things out that make it more convenient for us.
Correct.
Yes. So, my question for you is he adhering by,
There's nothing in there about water testing.
oh, okay,
There's a general paragraph that in essence says he's going to cooperate on public safety and public health matters.
okay,
And that's what we would be
okay.
Would
using
fall in
as
that category, right?
to nudge him along on this.
But everything else has been according to plan for Mr. Clausen?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay,
No one else has made any complaints or anything like that.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Obviously, Ms. Racine, you're going to see later tonight. Just so the board's aware, Gordon C. Andrews, being the Finance Committee member, has filed an appeal on the decisions by the building inspector regarding Amanda Estates, that subdivision that's going in off of Elm Street, both in terms of zoning and in terms of building permit issues. There's no action for the board to take. The appeals are being heard by the ZBA later this summer. We have the first of, I think, a couple of line item transfers. This one is for $8,000 from fire wages to fire vehicle and equipment maintenance. The fire department ended up having a large number of vehicle repairs, more so than was available money in their budget, and they're asking for that $8,000 be transferred from the wages to the maintenance account. They have sufficient wages to cover them through the rest of the year.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Okay.
We
I'll
have
make
the-
a motion that we abate the ambulance, we do the ambulance
Okay.
abatement for the month of April 2017 to a revised number of $19,757.71.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Visiting Nurse Association, we have 2 copies of the annual agreement for this year's for $5,320 for them to provide services to the town. If the board would approve the agreement and then sign, and
Are we
in
all
this
signing
case,
it?
I will check. It is all 3 signatures.
I'll make a motion that we sign the contract between the Visiting Nurses Association and the board.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The fire department had gotten an appropriation at town meeting this spring for repairs to the garage doors over at the fire station. They did go out to bid. They only got 1 bid at $23,994 from Overhead Door Company of Boston. That is more than what was appropriated at town meeting, but the fire chief feels he has sufficient money in his FY18 budget for station maintenance to cover the remaining balance. I believe it was about $19,000 that was approved at town meeting.
Is there a problem with that, where there was a number specific?
No, I mean, he could spend out the
Okay.
I've reviewed this with the town accountant, and she's fine with spending down the station maintenance account also.
So
So,
moved.
the board approved that, okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Special Police Officer Panache Flint has resigned effective June 30th of 2017. We just have this note from him and then confirmation from the police chief.
He is such a great special, he's been a special for many, many years, and I think just life is busy for him. So I think that we should accept his resignation, but send a letter of thanks for all the years of dedication.
Accept it with regret?
Yep.
Wish him well in his future.
Pam, in terms of the appointments, have you given them the most up-to-date list based on the ethics missions?
Oh, okay.
On the agenda, so that everything is on the
Oh,
agenda.
so we can just
Okay.
let his
So
term
they should-
expire.
They can just read off the
Yeah,
agenda.
so if you want to do that?
Yes, yeah, we'll do that.
So, okay, wait, so you guys are gonna send the letter, do you guys want to vote on sending the letter? We have
Yes,
already
I'll
on.
make,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so who got it?
I'll make the motion.
Or,
I'll second.
Second.
they,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So if the board wants to start working on the appointments,
Do you-
Yes.
You want them read?
Or, what? Oh, okay.
unless you want to say as
No,
presented.
I will, yeah, I'll make a motion that we,
As presented in
as
the
presented in
agenda.
the agenda,
dates on them too.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
with the dates coordinating that are reflective in the agenda.
Now, we do have a few people who didn't respond to Pam. We also have a few people who have not fulfilled their ethics obligations, in which case those people are not on this list. Pam has been diligent about contacting them. I've done a little work on it myself. All these people have been notified one way or the other of their need to reply. And I sure, like last summer, we'll get some stragglers later in July, but that's the current list we've got.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So Halifax fireworks, it's funny, at least once a day, if not twice a day on Halifax locals, someone's asking, what are the fireworks? As if no one's actually looking at the feed and saying, well, there's a post just a few hours ago that said when the fireworks were. Everything's on the town's website. It's also posted on Halifax locals. All the activities are Saturday, July 1st. There'll be activities during the daytime from 11 to 3, and then from 6 to 9. The activities will be 11 to 3 here at the town hall in the green. 6 to 9, everything moves over to the elementary school. They'll have food vendors and such, and the fireworks will be at 9 p.m. The complete details and everything are on the website, and people have been posting this flyer on Halifax
I was
locals
about to say
also.
there's a flyer available too, that I think it was at the Methodist Assessors.
There's several different offices, yeah. So, but the details are available.
You know, I have to just shout out to that particular committee because a lot of them are new and they've really been so dedicated and committed, and it's so much work. People don't realize what goes into having that complete day, and they're really making the day activities sort of like it used to be 10 or 15 years ago, when it's more like an old home day. So we're having like the baby contest, and we're having a pie eating contest, and we're having a cake decorating. So there's a lot of very hometown things that are going on. So I think we all would like to thank the entire committee for all of their dedication and
The only
time.
thing that I was surprised they didn't have a Greyhound racing.
Well, we're doing that.
You're gonna do the Greyhound racing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, whatever that is, let's move on.
Totally doing it.
The board segment a number of years ago established a food policy that generally prohibits the use of town funds for paying for food for various events. However, there is a procedure allowing someone to come to the board of selectmen and ask that town money be spent, for instance, to supply lunches for a workshop and such. I've organized a flagger workshop for highway and water departments. One of the requirements from the state agency, the Bay State Roads Project, is the town provide lunch. And so I'm asking that the town, out of the recruitment and employment training budget, that the board of selectmen allow the use of such funds for the payment for lunches and such for that workshop.
It won't be lobster this year.
It will not be lobster.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The fire chief had contacted me along with the phone company, they're not the one that's actually installing the equipment over at the fire station so it can be hooked into the police station, but the actual phone manufacturer, Epitome. And they both have indicated that the only vendor who is qualified in the state of Massachusetts to do the phone installation so that it works with the police station is National Telecom Systems. And it is allowed for us to have a sole source procurement, but the board of selectmen has to approve it. So I'm coming to the board to ask for that.
And we have information to the fact that they're the only ones that can do this work.
Right, I talked to Epitome directly to ask whether there were any other authorized vendors, and they said there were none in Massachusetts.
And they are vetted in terms of ability to do it?
Yes.
Well, if they're okay by the state, I have no problems, I will move it.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
We have the agreement with the union contract with the Halifax Associated Police Patrolmen. This is for fiscal 18 through fiscal 20. There are 2 copies for the board to sign, and there'll be signatures from the entire board. The board had previously agreed to the terms of the agreement, but I'm just asking for the board to ratify the contract today. And
Okay, so I'll
Sign
make a
the
motion
contract.
that we ratify the
You've
contract.
read this and memorized it?
well, I'm the one who wrote it, so yeah.
I'll make a motion that we ratify.
Making sure.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There are 2 copies.
It's 7:45.
Close enough. Clock's running faster on my end. So, Mr. Chairman, I guess what Troy's mentioning is we have our 7:45 appointment available, I believe.
Something about joining the Boy Scouts or something of that nature.
So come on up.
Hi, Nate.
Hello there.
First of all, thank you all for your time tonight. My name is Nate Coombe, and I'm obviously a Boy Scout in this town. I just became a Life Scout in order to become an Eagle and we do a service project for the community. So I come to you tonight with a plan, hopefully for needs to pass the approval, so. That's what I'm calling. I
Thank you.
have 5 copies here, so I'm gonna do one short.
Thank
We'll
you.
make sure that PM gets it. That'll be fine.
Yeah, okay, no.
Thank you.
Alright, so I'd like to do some work over on the Veterans Memorial just across the street. What you're seeing here on the first page is you have your, hang on, I need to get this up here. You have your, all this here, with the names on it, and then the flagpole. So here, the flagpole is the one I leave. These 2 rectangles are 2 benches I'd like to add, because I feel like this area over there is not really well attended. I feel like it's almost underappreciated in town. And I feel like if you add benches, you know, or add some scenery and benches, it might attract more people or attention. And then you'll probably, you can see over the third top corner here, there's a 3rd bench that's, I haven't decided on it yet. I was maybe hoping to find advice on you if you think that would be, like, if you think that would be a good addition, or you think it's a little extra,
I think it's too much.
too much? All right.
Yeah, I like the simplicity of the 2 benches.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. And then I was looking to add, like a little bit of flowers or plants around probably around a 4-foot radius around the obelisk with a little pathway, so people can still go up to the obelisk if they want to.
We would need to talk about what kind of plants for maintenance issues, and, you know, for the mowing around them. So we would need to sort of know what you were thinking about for
All right.
plants.
Well, one of the things that, at least from my standpoint, being a veteran, I'd like to keep it simplistic, and that your ideas are good, but the main reason for being there is the monument itself. You know, to attract people to come in, that's what the purpose is. You know, it's nice to have the seats and stuff there, but we don't want to do so much that it distracts away from your project. It's a good one, an admirable one, and I look forward to, you know, you completing it, but
Okay.
we don't, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want to make it too inviting to people who aren't going over there to respect the monument, but going over there to use it for other unnecessary things.
Yeah, okay. I get what you're saying, yep.
What are the material that you were gonna think, are you thinking about like a plastic wood so that it stays?
I have a picture, hold on.
Yeah, but is that with
Okay,
plastic
it's
wood?
Mahogany, I think? Yes. It's mahogany, and then,
Can we talk about something that would require less maintenance?
There's another Eagle project going on in town, that's the amphitheater that's being redone, that's all gonna be done in plastic material. So that's an option also.
what I'd
Yeah,
like to add is these benches are made, they're, benches added, over right next to the hill. They match those benches.
Same type of
Yeah.
benches.
perfect, thank you.
The mahogany maintenance isn't all that terrible. I mean, every other year or so, you need to put a product on it. Mahogany's pretty dense. It's almost like a wax product, like a Sickens or something. Not that I'm promoting any particular brand or anything, but the wood holds up. It just needs to be treated every once in a while.
Yeah, my only question is who would treat it? Just because I love an Eagle Scout project, but I'm also, we've been around long enough to know what needs to be maintained, and sometimes the Eagle projects don't get maintained, and so it becomes then a problem. So that's where I'm coming from. So,
So you're signing up for lifetime maintenance, I
Yeah.
think is what she's saying.
pretty much, yeah.
Excuse me,
Pretty much.
not only you, but your kids and your grandkids.
No, I'm so appreciative, and I love an Eagle Scout project, so I'm not being negative at all, but I think that we've done gardens that don't get the care years later, and so we want to make sure that something can be maintained in a beautiful way to, especially for this veterans area that is really very important to our community. So I just want to make sure that we're not going to look at a
Yeah.
bench that 10 years from now is falling apart, and then that's all.
Yep.
I like the benches. I like them. They're simple. I like them without the backs. They're inobtrusive. I'm not 100% sold on the shrubbery for that exact reason. You know, someone really needs to kind of take care of it, trim them, and we're not always the best at doing that.
Well,
That's something we could discuss.
and you can almost take it from the National Cemetery, you know, it's very plain. It's there because they're honoring the people that have passed. So that should be the focus point. And I don't know whether or not there's anything that we can do around the monument that might draw people's eyesight to it.
So you're saying drop the, I was going to drop shrubbery altogether?
Well, first of all, the more stuff you put in the, as was stated earlier, the more it's gotta be maintained. And a simplistic project, I mean, you know, whatever you do over there would be appreciated. We're not
Oh,
demeaning
sure.
your project. When you get too elaborate, it's like buying a Rolls Royce when you need a Chevy, it takes a lot more maintenance to take care of it.
Yeah, okay.
I agree.
I like the idea of keeping it simple. I think the benches are a great addition. Like I said, I'm not so sure about the shrubbery.
Does the board have a preference on color if we use a plastic material?
Like a wood color?
Yeah, like
I think this, I think this,
Cedar or more of a grayish
I think
tone?
the cedar or the tan color is nice,
Okay.
and it changes.
as long as you know, the darker colors, especially in the summertime, no one's gonna sit on them because they will burn your butt.
It's amazing the technology has changed a lot. I thought the same thing with this other project I'm involved with. That's their claim to fame is that.
That
it
the
does-
product is not
with
heating
all
up.
the heat, it's super expensive to fundraise for, but it's a great product. You know, like a 50-year lifespan.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Love it.
It's like remortgaging your house, but it's,
Can you get some of that stuff to do a little transfusion so it can live a little longer? too?
So if you're saving on shrubbery,
you can.
then you can invest in, yes, I think that's a great idea. And then you also have a picture here. What is this?
I'm trying to find that page here.
That's the flagpole,
That is
isn't it?
the flag.
Yeah, that's the
yes.
flagpole, yeah.
When you and I, Mom, were first talking about what I was thinking about doing here, she was saying maybe add flowers on the shrubbery, so around the flagpole. So she wanted to include that picture. I thought I should leave the flagpole as it is, because it's, you know, I think more functions actually happen around that flag, but you know, you need that space for it. But she wanted that picture in there actually, so,
Oh, okay, all right, I didn't know if it was there.
yeah, just,
And then the same, like this tree,
That's a bench in front of it.
that was, yeah. That was the third hypothetical bench, we put that there.
Oh.
So we have shade.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
thank you,
right.
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
So now, right, if we just do 2 benches instead of 3,
Yeah.
The offsetting cost, is that what
yeah.
You know, just,
Time.
yeah, that too.
not that it's your responsibility to do, but I think we need to talk to our ground crew to do something about the flagpoles, and it looks rather, I won't say unattractive, but about the base of it. And it needs to be coated with some. Can you see it from here?
No.
Okay, I just.
No, I wanted to look
looking
at, no, I wanted to see what that one looked
Oh,
like,
okay.
that's all.
Yeah, well, it's got some plants growing around it which looks good, some hostas, and the hostas are low growing and very low maintenance when it changes.
Yeah, hosta is a great plant for that kind of thing.
So, you know, that might be something you could, like, well, I don't know if the rest of the board would agree to it or not, but if it's something like a hosta or something that's low growing and low maintenance, it might be nice, because it does look rather, I don't say unattractive,
You're saying around the flagpole, but not
Around the
necessarily
flagpole.
around the monument.
not necessarily around the monument.
Just clearing it out.
They go 3 sides, so they can get to the flagpole on the 4th side?
Well, this was all the way around the flagpole, and they're able to get to the pole, so, I don't know. Just leave space so they can step over and hit the concrete.
And if they start getting big, the mowing crew can always take,
Give it a trim.
Yeah.
Tom, I know that the board has jurisdiction over this, but it might be helpful just to,
bounce it off the beautification committee.
well, the beautification committee, but also the veterans agent and the veterans organizations.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, that's
so
a good
they're
thought.
they're aware of what this proposal is.
Excellent.
Would you like a motion that would include a contingency to, you know, we would move to approve it with the approval, subsequent approval from the veterans
Or
agent?
with comments, and if
With-
their
with-
yeah,
comments,
with comments,
if the
yeah.
comments are sufficient to bring it back to the board in a couple of weeks, then the board can make sure,
Okay,
you know.
that's fine.
Now, is he number 29 or 28 Eagle Scouts that you got?
After his approval, he's the 7th current Eagle candidate right now,
Right.
all at once. And if those 7 make it, I'll have 12 in
That's
the 6
amazing.
years that I've been Scoutmaster.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
but even
terrific.
prior to that, because I
That is
went to at
terrific.
least 20 before that.
Yeah, you're gonna be pretty busy the next year.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, they're all great kids, doing
Yeah.
great projects.
Well, he is a
Work
great
with
leader, Pete.
them.
Well,
Good town.
It's definitely a reflection of the leadership.
I have to give the plug to the Boy Scouts because for one of the smallest units in the country, it's put out more Eagle Scouts than any other.
It's amazing, amazing.
You really have. So continue the good work.
Absolutely. Congratulations to all of you.
Yeah. And now, have we voted on this yet?
Yeah, we want to word that properly, so
So I'll make a motion that we approve the Eagle Scout projects with comments from the Veterans Agent, the Beautification Committee,
In the Veterans
And-
Organization.
and the Veterans Organization to ensure that they are comfortable with the project as well.
And they're aware of it.
do I hear a second for that?
Through email?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes, and then I know we always have, somebody has to sign off on,
I'll
you'll need
find
the
it.
paperwork, yeah, okay,
Thank you, Kim.
all right, okay.
Did you second that, Troy?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good luck.
Excellent,
Good
thank
job,
you.
Nate.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much,
And thank you,
Good time, guys.
and
Thank
thank you
you.
for caring.
really, appreciate it.
Mind if I get a quick picture in the hallway of the paper?
Absolutely.
Do you need me to? I'm kidding.
what, are you gonna go at anything like the opening of an envelope, is that?
They don't want to distract away from the person.
No, just the fact that you brought up all the negative issues.
I
It's
know,
no
I feel
concern.
bad, I don't want to be negative, I'm so appreciative, I really am, but I just want to make sure that's something we can maintain.
Well, yeah, especially this, going back to simplicity is really
Yeah.
key.
We'll maybe do 1 or 2 things before we get to
Okay.
our 8 o'clock. On the Council on Aging project, the building committee's meeting tonight. They should be discussing the Pope's Tavern project. They had asked for me to update the 2011 RFP that we issued for the owner's project manager for when we were looking at the possibility of doing something for Thompson Street. The reason we need an OPM is because the project's valued over $1.5 million, and under state law, we're required to have an OPM. It's not a choice that we have.
Right.
My hope is they'll take a look at the RFP, they'll make any other modifications that they want, and then we'll go out for an RFP, probably with a bid deadline of late July.
Oh, good.
Now, the next thing after that, after hiring an OPM, is that they'll have to go through the architect process again. I understand it seems weird because we had an architect on board, but the order again in state law is hire the OPM, hire the designer, then you go out to bid once you have the construction documents and such. There's nothing saying that they can't hire the same firm that's been working with them all along. It's simply that we have to go through this procedure. So at this point, I'm simply waiting to hear back, and I'm hoping later this week to hear back from them.
Okay.
And just so, in terms of the snack shed, I know we had the electric bill, the board had just approved earlier. We are going to be using the snack shed, not as a snack shed for
Public.
July 1st for the public. It's going to be used by the contractors for the fireworks, so they have a place for facilities to use. Jerry contacted me yesterday to tell me, I guess sometime over the weekend, there was some damage to the snack shed, maybe about $1,000 worth. Not the bathrooms. He mentioned the overhang on the door lock on the garage door, and I guess a little damage to the kitchen. He said, really, unfortunately, the only thing we can be, if we want to do something and spend probably more money than the $1,000 in the future, would be
Put cameras
put
up.
cameras, but that would cost
But
them.
you know, see, and I appreciate that, but unless you get the cameras in an ironclad facility, and from the way, that could be damaged too. So you're spending money that's possible it could be.
They did catch the people who did it, though.
Okay.
I don't
Did
know if
not
you're
know
aware
that.
of
No, I
that.
did not know
That's
that.
They did.
Well, maybe we can obtain some compensation.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, we'll need to-
So we'll need to let the police
Put them on
department
the
know
workers'
the
release
amount.
program through the jail.
Yeah, we'll need to let the police department know the amount of the damage, and
Okay.
then when they're going to the court, they can identify that.
Okay. Do we have our, yes, we have our finance committee. We have Erica here, so I guess, and John's here, so we've got the crew.
All right, so we're going to move forward. We have a candidate, and thank you, for showing interest in the Wage and Personnel Board.
Yeah, can you
We
come up
can,
to the front, Erica? Thank you.
We have spent a very long time searching for candidates, is what I'm trying to say. And we have Erica Rossini here before us this evening. Wage and Personnel has spoken with Erica, and we're bringing Erica forward to the full board. And as the bylaw requires, a member of the Finance Committee and Town Moderator, so we're all represented. So if anybody has any questions of Ms. Rossini?
I'd like to start.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you. Actually, can you just tell me a little bit about, I know you,
Right.
and I know that you volunteered a lot for the schools. You've been part of the PTO for many, many years as your children have gone through the school system. But can you tell me why you would like to volunteer for the Wage and Personnel and why that specific committee?
Sure, they actually asked me the same question the other night. I've been a resident here since the early 90s. Like you said, I dedicated my time and my volunteering for the PTO because that's where my heart was with my children growing. I picked Wage and Personnel, one, because he made a plea at town meeting, how there really isn't, well, there is no board. So if I can, put my foot in and start to help out there, maybe some other people will join on and we'll be a full board again. And I went with Wage and Personnel, one, because he was saying there isn't a board, and I don't feel comfortable when I came to a couple of the Finance Committee meetings. I didn't feel like I could join that kind of a board. So I just think it's a good fit for now.
Yeah, I think I actually started on Wage and Personnel, and I think it's a really great place to get to know each position and really which each position is. And I know that you'll come across a lot of different departments, and I think that I was pleasantly surprised to learn things that I didn't know about what people do, because I think there could be a preconception out there of what certain positions do and what their responsibilities are, and then once you're in it, you'll see really the hard work that the employees do for this for our town, and we're so grateful that you're willing to step up. And I know I've seen you at town meeting. Do you think that you attend all the town meetings?
No.
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 I personally like to ask that when you volunteer for a board or committee that you make that commitment, because that's really where all the tax dollars are spent.
Right.
Like we spend all year, and Mel will attest to this, planning and budgeting and meeting and vetting all the requests, but it's really the people who attend town meeting that decide where the tax money is spent and what your tax bill is. And so you have a lot of people, and I know I think I've seen you on Facebook, Halifax Locals, that you'll see people going in there complaining about their tax bill, but it's important for us to get the message back out to them that it's really us, the people. It's not us, it's all of us collectively that set the tax bill. And so I think it's really great that you're willing to step up and help the community, and I'm really glad that you're doing that, and I think that you'll really like it, and I think that you'll learn a lot, and then like as I said, you'll learn a lot in that, and then maybe you'll feel comfortable to move on to another thing.
Just one question. What do you feel that you will accomplish by being on the Wage and Personnel, and what do you think Wage and Personnel responsibility is?
So I know that right now they're going through the whole reclassification project. I have gone to a couple of meetings, I have heard some, I've gotten some information, I've read up about it. Like I said, there's not a board, and we need to start to try to recruit people for this board. This is a really important time where all this is happening and this change, and people are always complaining about this, that, and the other thing. Until you put, yourself into the equation, you can't really make any changes. So I'm just hoping that I can give my time, I can be a fair representation of, what needs to get done, and listen and learn and do what I need to do.
I think that follows along with what the sentiment I was trying to express at town meeting. It's easy to stand on the outside and assume things, but come on inside, and I appreciate the fact that you're attempting to do that, to come inside and actually get the view from inside. Because I think anybody who's ever served in town government, who's come from the outside, their opinions change pretty quick once they're inside.
Right.
There's a whole different dynamic than they perceive there to be. So, again, appreciate the fact you stepped forward. And I actually said something that actually created some results, which is kind of cool too.
It's not
anyone else?
unusual.
Do you have any questions for us about what your role is and the time that you need to spend on it? And do you feel like you have the time? You know, when I was on Wage and Personnel, like I was the one that was doing the evaluations and calling the different towns. I know that the secretary helps out a
Susan
lot, only
does,
because we
yeah.
haven't had a lot of people. But do you have the time to take on that
I do.
role?
Mhm.
Well, that's where I started in my service to
Right,
the
you know,
town.
I might love it, I might hate it, I might move out of town in 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know, I have the time, I have
I
the
think you
willingness
like
to
it.
do it,
Mm.
you know, put my foot out there and see what happens.
Facts, 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 fair,
Right.
firm, and consistent.
So if you have no further questions, I'll make a motion. No?
case
Oh, I
John-
forgot. I'm
John-
sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I can't, that's right, I can't make the motion.
But if John has any
If I
questions.
remember right, your husband was on capital planning?
Yes.
And so, when you start talking to him after you've been doing wage and personnel for a little while, you realize that his job is a lot more fun. Because wage
Yeah.
and personnel is probably the hardest job in town, I think, as a volunteer, because everybody's gonna be mad at you at some point. Citizens or the employees, somebody's gonna be mad at you.
Right.
But I like your attitude, so good for you. Thanks for helping out. It's an important job, but it's not well appreciated by most people. So, good luck.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
There's only one really negative thing about volunteering, and once you kind of learn it, like sometimes you're only as good as the last decision that you made that somebody agreed with. So you can, I know it's super sad sometimes, well, you find that, like you can do
It's ancient
100.
history anyhow, Kim.
Well, no,
What, are you still mad at me?
The last decision? Yeah.
there's a sentence
No,
that
that you
always
disagreed sometimes.
comes to mind,
Yeah.
that people won't remember all the good things you've done, they won't remember how nice you've been to them, but they will remember all your mistakes.
Sometimes people think
You know,
that, yeah.
whether you think it was a mistake
I
or
work
not.
at an elementary school, I deal with that all day.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I've got, 600 families. I can be doing 100% right, and then they come to the door and I do
Oh,
something wrong.
The
Oh, I
most
didn't know you
famous
were-
question
I didn't know
is,
you were. Yeah.
why is my kid not learning?
I can't make the motion.
I
I can
understand.
make a motion. I'll move that we appoint Erica Rossini for wage personnel. I don't know what the term is.
June 30th, 2020.
That's right. For those who aren't, well, I suppose we do have a front camera. That's our town moderator, Mr. Bruno, John Bruno, who made that motion. We need a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
See you next week.
There's a couple things you need to do within 30 days, right, Pam? She needs-
She gets sworn in, I have her card here. She also, have you filled out the online ethics? You must have for the school, have you done anything like that? You have, okay, I will, why don't you, I
Can you
will,
just stop in tomorrow?
you can, and you, oh yeah, come in tomorrow.
You
and
can
I'll-
do it online.
You can, and I'll get you the website. I have it on my.
The one thing you have to remember is you won't be able to print your name in the form unless you enable the cookies
Or eliminate the pop-up
or
block.
eliminate the pop-up property.
The cookies that
Yes,
pop
come in,
up.
I'm here tomorrow, and then, I'll get you the.
I didn't know they served
website.
food on the computer.
I know, I'm getting
You know,
hungry.
you can do it at home or whatever you want to do. All right?
Sounds like a fire. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you so
Good
much.
night, thank you.
May the force be with you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Coming in.
Nice to see you.
John, I realize your time is
Bye,
valuable,
Mel.
we
Take
appreciate
care.
Oh,
you
I forgot to
being here.
introduce Mel to him. Silly me. Well, he's gone now.
Okay.
So on Ponset Pond, this year's treatment concluded earlier this month. There were no complaints to the office or on Facebook, as far as I know. The algae levels continue to be significantly below the 70,000, but we'll see how things progress. I'm more interested, for instance, in finding out what we had for algae levels this
Yes.
week. We'll see how that comes out. Brockton is reportedly having a disagreement between the city council and the mayor about appropriating money for water for Aquaria, which is a desalinization plant.
Who's on the positive side?
The mayor wants to budget the money, the city council voted an appropriation of zero. I think there's some realization that they didn't really want to vote a budget of zero but that was the motion, that basically was brought up, $1 million, no, okay, and no one then offered an
no one said,
amendment
"Can we
or anything like
compromise
that.
this?"
Yeah, so we'll see, you know.
And what's important to mention too is that the Brockton has signed an ACO with the DEP, which
To
includes
do, in fact, that.
Also, if they don't use Aquaria, it places greater stress on the Silver Lake facility, which then places, not during the summer, because they can't divert during the summer, but the rest of the year, it places a greater stress on Ponce Pond and diverting from water from those bodies. What else? Oh, just later this summer, one of the things that we had done with the DEP grant was make a commitment, at least for the time being, of putting in some sort of pump system, not today, not tomorrow, not even necessarily this year, but as a replacement for these large-scale logistical efforts to put aluminum sulfate into the water there. I'm going to have to be working to find an engineering firm that can do the design, and come up with a cost estimate and such, and we'll see, in fact, what we need to proceed. I'm going to have to bring in the water department, I want to bring in youth and rec, because it's likely that any type of shed or other building for that facility be placed on the Y Camp land. It is also obviously a well district, so we'll have to see how that plays out. We have one deed to sign. There's no motion or anything needed, but, and the Wage and Personnel Board had just simply sent out one of the reminders that they need to, they want evaluations done for Sandy Nolan and Rob Piccarelli.
I can definitely do Sandy. I don't know if you want me to do Rob
I
too.
always say this hard C, I'm sorry.
Picture really.
Do you want me to do Rob?
Probably more appropriate than me doing
Okay, I'll do both of those.
The hops race was back on June 11th. As far as I know, everything went well, except unfortunately it was on Sunday morning, and I guess a number of congregants at the Congregational Church next door here had some problems getting to services or getting home. They also had a couple of other complaints about the race. I'm going to send a copy of the letter to Jonathan Seelig and also a copy to the police chief.
I did mention that to the Hops Committee when I
it.
went to the
Social was
meeting.
blocked off completely. up here.
Well, and I do want to just stick up for Hops for just a minute, because Hops came in very early on to choose that date, and it's a really hard thing to navigate because we are appealing to the young families to participate in this race and Family Day to get as many people involved as we can. And so with soccer and baseball in the spring, it's a really tough thing, so they chose the Sunday. And, you know, the church did go to Jonathan, and we were going to try to change it, but what happened was we already had people registered. So, you know, we've been talking again about next year doing it on a Saturday and trying to coordinate, you know, it was...
And they might want to try and coordinate with the baseball and soccer
Yes,
programs to say, look, could you not hold events that morning on a Saturday, for instance? Can you skip that Saturday?
The problem that we have, Charlie, and that makes sense, is that on the older kids, that makes those games away, because the whole league isn't going to shut down soccer.
Right.
So, and then you're appealing to less people. So we're trying to work it out.
Right.
We're trying to work out the dates. So they were very mindful of it being in the church. So I was surprised to get such a strong complaint letter, to be honest.
Yeah. But I will relay this both to Jonathan and to the police chief. Open meeting law, just so the board's aware that the AG's office has proposed new regs. Nothing, I don't think that are going to be significant or onerous on the town, but they're going through the comment process. If somebody had any interest, there's explanations of the regs there in the mail folder. Rick Springer had sent a note to the planning board indicating they're going to make that, I'll call it a repair modification on the driveway there at 4 Heron Road in order to
It's actually
satisfy.
dollar sign.
$, Heron Road. That's how much what they're spending too, $signs. In order to, I guess, deal with the owner's complaints about how the driveway and the sidewalk
How the curb and the
intersected.
sidewalk was put in.
My understanding is they met with the planning board and they came up with a proposed resolution to the problem.
On the school roof project, that is moving forward. We should be beginning work on or about July 10th. There was a question in terms of the review of the contract. When Counselor reviewed it, he wanted to make sure that bonds were obtained before the board approved any contract. The OPM had mentioned that they won't allow the company to start doing the work until the bonds are obtained, but that the contract has to be signed in order for the company to get the bonds, because the bond holder, or the bond issuer won't issue a bond for a project that doesn't have signatures on it yet. So things are moving forward with that. We had a meeting at the school, including school personnel, the building committee, not the school municipal building committee, but the school project committee, and other parties, including 2 members of the board of selectmen there, to go over the ins and outs of where things stand right now, what's going to be happening during the next few weeks. And I thought that was very productive. We're going to have meetings in the future to continue as the process works through. But what the July 10th date means is we'll have all the parking areas available at the school for the fireworks this coming Saturday. We thought we were going to have restrictive parking in that area. We won't. But after, starting on July 10th, much of the school area is going to be restricted in terms of parking. It'll be fenced off and such, so the work can continue and equipment can be placed there.
And you want to just mention the work hours so people are aware that the work hours.
I believe it's going to be from 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
right.
to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
And Kim's going to monitor that, she agreed?
Yes.
This is in order to move the project as quickly along as possible. The more hours they can work each day,
The more likely they are to finish before the end of the season.
Right.
Do you want to just put that in the newspaper, the hours? Do you mind?
Let's see, we did the fire wages one for the transfer. YM transfer number 2 is for $5,768 from town building wages to town building expense. Was less overtime this year, but the elevator doors needed more repairs, and so Jerry is asking for the transfer.
I'll make a motion that we approve $5,768 from town building wages to town building expense for the ongoing problem with the elevator.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I wanted the board, if they could, to acknowledge a donation of $3,500 from the Halifax Plimpton Business Association to the police department gift account. We don't do this with every gift that comes through, but this was a significant amount of money, and I thought it'd be helpful and courteous for the board to send a letter to the Business Association.
So moved.
And Mr. Vinton?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The paperwork moved slower than the alm treatment did, so I have the copies of the contract to sign with Solitude Lake Management for their
No,
work.
I'm not signing
I'm
that.
not signing that.
What treatment?
I don't know what they're talking about.
I thought we were supposed to wait 6 months to make sure it worked.
I'll make a motion that we
So
sign
you-
the contract.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I did hear from Fisheries and Wildlife
Oh, yeah.
today. This diagram, I guess I could blow it up, but if the board wanted to look at the diagram, what this shows is the redraft of the plan for the access from Elm Street. It's going to be about 20 feet wide,
Oh, they
crushed
are
stone.
eating into it. Oh, I thought they were just gonna leave it with the fence because the car can fit down there.
Well, all I can tell you is
They're gonna grade it a little
the
bit.
plan shows 20 feet of crushed stone, about 320 feet long from Elm Street into the parking area. They're going to have to do some, as you
So
all
we're
just,
taking down some of the hill.
right, as you all just mentioned, they're going to be doing some regrading. They're going to have to, after that's done, they'll be seeding along that slope and putting in some shrubs.
Oh.
I did send a note to Fisheries and Wildlife asking about drainage. Just my concern is,
Yeah,
given
because
the
runoff, with the pavement in there, even gravel, the
Thank you,
water
Joe.
will settle a lot longer.
Right, well, and also, my only other concern was simply for the abutter. I mean, if it's, as long as the water's not draining into his property because
Oh,
of the
yes.
slope and everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
right.
we need to,
Well,
we
you
need
got,
to
you
get in
got
touch
two,
with
you got
him.
two problems. If they're gonna put a gutter like along the road on the hillside, so that it runs down or back out into the street, but they've gotta put a receiving area. You know what I'm talking about, right, Tom?
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be an improvement to what's there now. It's actually
Yeah,
pretty steep.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't
We don't want the water running into
No,
the
no.
next property
No.
because it's still
Well,
sort of a downhill slope.
I believe the slope is from Elm Street towards the parking area, in
Yeah.
the sense of, it said, I think 62 feet
Broke.
elevation at the intersection of the access in Elm Street, and it's 52 feet at the far end.
So it's gonna
east
run to the
towards the parking area, but it's still going to be sloped towards, very possibly towards the fence. And I just want to make sure that there's some provision so that the water doesn't go on.
That was
the
very good
butter's
thinking,
property.
Charlie.
Yeah, so they have some type of plastic.
In that amount of
Conduit.
space, I think
Yeah,
pretty well contained.
Yeah.
But-
awesome.
But, let's make sure that Fisheries and Wildlife says, okay, we understand
Yeah,
this is a concern.
Concern.
And can we let the neighbor know so that he's
I'm,
aware that
I'm
there's
sending a
work?
note to I'll send a note to Fisheries and Wildlife asking them to contact the neighbor directly. I don't
Thank
want
you.
to be an intermediary in
You
this.
know what, you're
Good
right.
point.
Okay.
Just, the MMA also sent out something, yesterday, just asking cities and towns to contact their legislators, since the conference committee is still working on the state budget, and the MMA would like to make sure that whatever local aid was approved by both the House and Senate goes into effect, that given the budget situation right now, there is a concern that that might be a place where they decide, oh, we've got to make
Yes.
ends meet, we'll do it on that, on the backs of the cities and towns. So
I'll make a motion that we send a letter of support.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We've got road openings.
Right, we got one more thing.
Oh, you got one more?
Just
Oh,
two
sorry.
minor things. One is, the sheriff's office did call today about the
Yes.
program for picking up litter. They need to work out some overtime for their staff and get a Saturday crew to come out to do that work. We do have to provide lunch. I'm not sure where the money's coming from to provide lunch.
So we're all chipping in? is
I
that-
don't know.
Maybe the beautification money has money in their budget. I bet you that's a great place to use.
Well, one of the things, and we'll have a new budget because it's going to be after
Yeah,
July
that's what I
1st.
mean. Yeah,
But if the board will approve whatever source we end up using, so that we're using town funds to pay for food again.
okay. I'll make a motion. Oh, do we
Second.
need that? Yeah.
Yes, please.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And you all were talking about maintenance of the grounds and such. We've got one of those sort of in-between spots. Pete Barone had called up to mention the problems, not of the mowing of the fields and everything, but there are areas that aren't part of, exactly, that I'm going to see, Steve Hayward's good about, or the highway department's been good about doing it for specific events, but not on a regular basis. I'm going to see whether they can try and make sure that they get the weed whacker out for those areas where the mowing is.
Or the brush whacker.
Yeah, or the brush whacker. So I'm going to contact him. I mean, long-term, we've talked about this before, maybe sometime this summer, I'm going to draft something for special legislation so that we can codify sort of a combined department, not with the water department, not with the building committee and building maintenance, but for highway, cemetery, and grounds.
So
and
it's all
tree.
under one umbrella?
Yes, and that specifically in our, in essence, through the special legislation, the jurisdiction and responsibility for those areas are specified that it's going to be this department. It'd still be an elected position. I'm not
Yeah.
thinking about changing that, but right now, it's worked well for many decades that the highway department has assumed responsibilities that legally it's not required to assume. But it's things like this where sort of there were gaps in the coverage of responsibility, well, who's supposed to do that? Well, legally.
Yeah, it's a gray area.
Yeah, especially where we've added things to it
Yes,
over the course of time.
So, but I'll contact Steve about that, see what they can do for the sports programs. And that's what I've got.
All right, I've got the road cuts. Ready? 151 River Street for a new gas service. We've got the building inspector, gave him a trench permit. We require one detail officer. No stipulations for highway, water, or conservation.
Sounds normal.
This is the one for bringing in the Parsons Lane, or is this a
That's
different?
This is River Street.
Okay, River Street.
So I may move that opening approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. And then we have another one on 2013th Ave to abandon services at the main. So we have the building inspector issued the trench permit, no details required, no requirements for the highway, water, or conservation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. And the last one,
Last one's tricky.
yes, it's a little tricky. So it's for 266 to 230. It's to install a new gas main to provide service to Parsons Lane. And the building inspector issued the trench permit. It requires 2 police detail officers. The highway would request that we keep the trench in the shoulder, that no cuts to the asphalt, and that the top of the trench be processed asphalt.
Do we not have a gas there now? Is that what that is?
This must be going to
It's a
Parsons
new
Lane,
one.
right? Down,
And that water has none, conservation has none, and the, oh yeah, that's it.
Has the highway person talked to these people as of yet?
Can I see that map?
Well, all we know is that highway provided comments, yeah.
He provided his
Okay.
comments, and it's on the
Okay.
thing. And
And they're not requiring any kind of holdback or anything.
Now, obviously, if they cut into the road, I mean,
we have a blanket on, and it's
Okay.
$100,000.
All right,
That's
cool.
good, and they upped it to 100, not because of this one,
Right.
but because they did another thing that they,
Oh,
Yes.
not
sorry.
too long ago, I can't remember what that was, but yeah.
Oh, I thought it just had my face on there.
Okay. Just sounded more exotic than it was.
Yeah, and the highway
think
I
it's the
supervisor.
way
didn't
you
even do it with
present
an
it.
accent.
It was a
I didn't say
presentation.
foreign, I said exotic.
Pam, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Oh, no, the highway surveyor also got those plans also.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I made the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So other than the executive session to deal with school teacher negotiations, I don't have anything else to bring to the board. So if the board wants to go into executive session, normal, we're going to executive session to discuss
an update.
union contracts with school teachers, and it's not beneficial for this to be held in open session. And so it would require a motion and a second and a roll call vote.
So moved.
Second.
Mr.
Yes.
Garin?
Yes.
Ms. Roy?
Yes.
Mr. Milius? Yes.
And the board's not coming back in the public session, and won't have any announcements.
Thank you.
Good night, folks.
Thank you very much, and good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.